Last night I was rolling through Twitter X and came across this clip of Pam Bondi, the United States Attorney General, talking about free speech and hate speech. I'm going to play it now, actually, and let me pull this up, and I'm going to mute and play this really quick here.
There's free speech and then there's hate speech. And there is no place, especially now, especially after what happened to Charlie, in our society.
Do you see more law enforcement going after these groups who are using hate speech and putting cuffs on people so we show them that some action is better than no action?
We will absolutely target you, go after you, if you are targeting anyone with hate speech, anything. And that's across the aisle.
That's the clip. Hold up. Now I'm going to remute, pull this off, put my face back up. Target you for hate speech is what she says. Hate speech is a nebulous term. It's not a legal phrase. It's something I've been, I don't want to say fighting against, but something I've been vocally advocated against since the dawn of, I feel like it was like 2015 or 16 when a censorship regime started like pushing this, oh, he said a bad word, therefore, and it's like, well, if I feel like hateful, then he's the villain. Like, bro, you don't get to pick if what I said is offensive. Like, your feelings are not about my legal right to speak. If you're getting hurt by my words, you need to do some soul searching or toughen up or use better words and create a society where, but it's legal. It's legal to be hateful. It's legal to advocate violence. I spent, and I'll be specific about that, what that means, advocating violence, because there is what's called imminent threat to violence. That's illegal. If you make imminent threats, you could, like, it's legal, and I learned this through working in social media administration, because we would get a lot of posts. I was working at Mines, I'd be behind the scenes, and all these people want to boost their posts on the network, and I'd have to watch posts would come through we built this system called a fire hose, where I'd sit down as an administrator and I'd get post and I'd have to click yes or no if it violated terms or services, and then go to the next one and the next one and the next one. And some of them would be like, I want to hurt person. We should commit crime. And I'm like, at first I'm like, oh, I would have just assumed it was all illegal to say that. But after learning, there's no imminency. It's if you say we should commit crime on day, at time, at place. Really, it's if you provide a time and a place. If you tell people to commit a crime at a time, at a place, you've created an imminency because of the time and the place. But just saying we need to go do crime is legal in this country. Saying I hate you is legal. Saying I'm glad he died is legal. And I don't feel good about it, but it's the free speech. The amendment was not about protecting our rights to feel good. It was always, people have said things that made other people feel bad, and then they would pull out a revolver and, like, we were like, no more of that stuff. Now we need to protect people's rights to speak and say things that may or may not make other people not feel good. And so we have our First Amendment, which is the groundwork of being able to build this thriving society of diplomacy and democracy. And lately I've been like on social media networks, obviously this is where I live and where I work, I should say. I don't live there, I work there. I spend a lot of my time perusing and studying social media. And I've seen people glorifying the death of Charlie Kirk or saying that they were glad it happened. I haven't seen a lot of people do it, but I've seen some people say it, and it hurt. Just because a couple, in one way, I knew the guy. So it's like, and they didn't. Some of the people that say things is like, and so I'm like, just that ignorance. And ignorance only being like that they didn't know. If ignorance is like ignore, like they didn't know what they're, and I'm like, that hurts. Just seeing them glorifying a death of some guy I know that I enjoyed spending time with. But then the other aspect is just like, I'm sad for their ignorance, and they don't seem to realize the power of their words. It's one thing to sit in a room with a friend and glorify the death of someone and talk about how glad you were about it. I've done that in the past. You know, I've said horrible stuff about people and things in private. But when you publicize those words on a media network, you've essentially told the world that you feel like that, and there will be social repercussions, not legal repercussions, social repercussions. And you're seeing it with people getting fired. People are getting fired from their jobs. What's happening is people are posting, or have in the past, I don't know if people are still, there's like a chilling effect right now about it, but people had posted like, I'm glad it happened, he deserved it, or whatever. And then someone will send that to their employer. And then the employer's like, oh my God, I've got an employee that's glorifying the murder of this innocent man. I don't want that guy working for me anymore. And they'll fire the person. And that, I think, probably since the dawn of time, has been like the biggest, the most like policing of each other's words and actions is like social repercussions. If it goes too far and you've got someone like coordinating a crime, then it can become illegal. Like if someone says we got to go do it again at this time at that place, you know, that's too far. But hate speech is legal. Hate speech is free speech. And there's like, because I was thinking, if someone was saying, I hope Ian dies, if people were talking about me and being like, I hope you die, I hope you, like things like that, think, for the love of the Lord God, whatever is going on, people don't do that stuff to me. Maybe because I don't do it, and so I don't receive it. I'm also not super like divisive when I talk, so I don't get a lot of like extreme responses. Or if I am getting them, maybe I'm just not seeing it. But it hurts when you see that kind of stuff. If you see that kind of stuff, I've learned to kind of just roll with it, not engage it. Because it seems like when you engage vitriol, you get more of it because people realize that's the kind of content, like whatever kind of content you respond to is the kind of content you get more of generally. But through it all, I've been a staunch advocate for upholding your right to do it. Your legal right to do it. And I just try and be, you know, persuasively sociological about getting you to not do it. Like if someone were to say that to me, I would want to be a better person so that maybe they wouldn't say it. And of course you can't please everyone. There's always going to be people. And when people get distorted and I don't know if it's SSRIs or what that make people like emotionless sometimes in their, or if it's just like a lack of, because I think sometimes people think the TV, like what's going on the TV is out there. It's over there. When in reality, it's all one. This is all one thing. This is real life. This is real life. Your TV is real life. The things that are said on the TV, that's real life. The things you put into this machine is real life. And it's like a digital version of real life, but it's still real life. It's all one thing. So it's not like, because I used to think too, like, well, my life on YouTube is different than my life on Facebook. The things I put on YouTube are different. It's not, though. You know, there might be like a short-term different crowd that sees it initially, but it's the same world. And when I first saw that people were getting fired, I saw people like, we're gonna go get these people that are glorifying Charlie's death. We're gonna make sure they get fired. I was like, oh God, because what I'm concerned about is so people that are already semi-radicalized, that are glorifying murder of a civilian, of an American civilian, that now you're going to take their job away and now they have no money. So they're like borderline radical. And then they have now they get their job taken away for what they believe is expressing their free speech. Like that could tend people towards more radicalization. I didn't like that. But other people are like, well, you know, you really do suffer social repercussions for speech. I have. For 20 years, I've lost so many friends. And if you're watching this, you might be one of them that used to really like me in college or in high school and then Ian went crazy. Ian, what the fuck's wrong with you? That kind of stuff. Well, I don't know, man. I just started expressing myself in depth and learning more new, different, changing and expressing my changes. And I received a lot of social repercussion, and I had to weather it. The thing about, this is one of the things about Charlie passing and being killed like he was, is that if you didn't like what he said, and I didn't sometimes, he was a devout Protestant, and I'm not. I'm agnostic in religion. I think there might be a God. I'm not sure exactly, but I think there is. I just don't know what it is. And so to call it a 3-letter word and say like, well, that's that, is like, that's just so rudimentary. And for a human to be like, well, I perceived God, I saw it. We know our visions are flawed. You know that your perception is capable of flaw. So to say just because you perceived it, that's what it actually is, just anyway. So I disagreed with Charlie on that kind of stuff, and I would debate him till the ends of the earth. And you know what? Now his beliefs are stuck at a 31-year-old belief. Like, that's, people will always remember him for what he believed when he was 31. And when he was 41, he would have been a different guy, and he would have had different beliefs. So if you really don't get along with someone's ideas, your best thing you can do is change them, is somehow interface with reality so that the words get through to them somehow in a dream, through a friend of a friend of a friend, or directly they see your video, and then their minds start to change, and then they start to change, and then their followers start to change. Because if you kill someone when they're espousing beliefs you don't agree with, then they can no longer change, and all those beliefs are now in stone with their followers. And it's easier, in my opinion, I don't know, to debate someone and see them change in real time, even just subtly. Like my biggest, I don't want to get into a religious debate against myself right now. I'll save that for the next time I'm talking to someone that identifies as a religion. I don't trust the media. It's really important that we maintain our ability to uphold our free speech laws and our right to glorify violence, as horrible as that is sometimes, as painful as it is to hear it. But then, so now we're in a kind of a new realm of social media, the amount of amplification that you can create with just a word with these media networks. Now you have control of like ABC, but it's Facebook, basically. You can blast to 100 million people your news. Is that like, at what point is imagery, whether it's text on a page or a picture of a guy, at what point is it a violation of that person's sovereignty? Because I was telling my friend yesterday, I was talking to Andreas on the Exertus show. He and I did a live stream on YouTube. That if someone made a video of me, like a deep fake video, with AI, and it showed me getting killed over and over and over in some gruesome way, or showed me killing someone and then killing myself, or like horrible thing, I'd be like, I'd want a legal recourse to take that down. He said, well, there's something about your likeness that may be different. So if someone makes a picture of you that shows something happening to you, or shows you doing something, or a video of it, maybe you could have there could be a law to help protect people from that. And maybe there already is. I'm not much of a legal scholar. But like to type it in words and say, well, there's always defamation too. Like if someone says that I did something I didn't do, I have legal recourse if it does damages, like 100,000 people, 1 million people see it and believe it. Defamation per se, defamation, slander, libel, things like that. But to say that you're glad I suffered, that's legal. I want you to be able to say that if you want to. It's a sensitive, there's this Rahm Emanuel quote. I think he was Obama's chief of staff. This came up in the show yesterday. I'm paraphrasing, never let a good tragedy go to waste. You can get people to do things that they wouldn't normally do. And in this hyper emotional, tensive moment, people like Pam Bondi are crying out for clamping down on people, legally going after people for the way they're voicing their emotions. Hate speech is such a ridiculous phrase. It's so ridiculous. Like, it's legal to hate. You're allowed to hate. It's okay to hate. Sometimes people have to feel hate in order to get over it. And if you try and suppress them, then it just builds up. But there is a difference between feeling hate, expressing hate to your friends, and publishing it. There is. I mean, not legally, but sociologically with social repercussions. It's just important. I think a lot about words and spells. You know, they say spelling your words, magic spells. This came up last week too, and I'm kind of just done pretending like maybe I was wrong. It's real. Your words are like casting magic. Hollywood, the wood of the holly tree was like witches would use it to cast spells. They call it Hollywood because they're mass casting this magic of mind control with verbiage. And you need to know that you're one of those spellcasters. Your words are massively impacting your surroundings. They are having drastic consequences on reality. So police your words, control yourself, have temperance, and like pick the best ones. Pick the ones that bring us together, because I don't want to see this stuff happen more. And it's a painful, you know, if someone got cut, my screensaver went up again. I don't know why that's happening while I'm recording, but I think the audio clipped. If someone's cut and they're bleeding, now's not the time to be screaming about like, I don't know, healing them is what I don't know if the metaphor really is here. It's like we're in like the state, it feels like we're sort of in triage right now. So like the chronic healing that's going to come later, we're still in this moment of like we're trying to stitch up the wound, sort of. And maybe that, I don't know how long that lasts. It's not a perfect metaphor because, of course, we are healing while we're hurting. Okay, I'll see you later.